Hey guys, this is Derek from the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast. I just want to let you know about this great deal that we have with Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow is where urban streetwear meets wrestling. Act now and use our discount code WIQ101 to receive extra savings at checkout when you visit collarandelbowbrand.com today. Wrestling IQ 101 and Collar and Elbow. It's a match made in wrestling heaven.
Hey guys, this is Andrew.
And this is Derek.
And this is Wrestling IQ 101. And make sure you check out our good friends at Go Pro Wrestling and their first event, Go Big or Go Home.
Definitely. Make sure you go to goprowrestling.com, use the promo code WIQ101 at checkout to get a discount today.
Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
This is Public Enemy number one, TJ Marconi. You're listening to the Wrestling IQ 101. Now you got a story to tell.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew alongside Derek.
Yep.
And you can follow Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. You can listen right here on YouTube or on iTunes at Wrestling IQ 101 or the B Plus Player Network. And today we're joined by Go Pro Wrestling's very own Andrew K. Man, how's it going?
Hey man, how's it going? You know, I really love your name. It's really a great name, Andrew.
Yeah, I like yours too. So,
Hey, Derek, how are you?
It seems pretty common to me. I don't know.
yeah, I guess our
I
parents,
appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Definitely.
our parents had some great things in common there. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but besides our name, we share another common interest. We both love professional wrestling, and can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how it's progressed?
If I tell you my love for professional wrestling dating back to the early 80s, it would probably be here all night, but I'm not going to bore you with I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version. I've been a fan my entire life. I always wanted to be a part of the wrestling business, and it's been a dream come true. And just to be aligned with the kind of people that I'm with, it's like I hit the lottery. Like the kind of people that I have that have a common interest like myself. Originally, I was writing articles. I've been doing that for a while. I used to write freelance for WrestleZone.com. I've written for Wrestling Inc. I've done a lot of different things, and this all came at an NXT show in Asbury Park about I would say it was sometime in mid-2016. If you go back and see, I think there was an NXT Asbury Park show, and the main event of that match was Bobby Roode and Shinsei. So, like that show, I remember I had falsecomeback.com. That was a website I had where I was writing articles, and I remember just staying up late so long to write articles, and it just, it caught on to some people that listened, and we did a little thing with WrestleZone Audio, and we had some articles that were up, people were reading it, and they were engaged a little bit. But I mean, I just the time that was put in, it just got too much, and then when I said to myself, like, what if we did our own wrestling show? I was with my buddies Mike and O'Neill. Those two guys are like the cornerstone of Go Pro Wrestling. They're the ones that founded it with me, basically. And later on, Frank and Noel, Rob, Dante. I mean, so many guys and girls, Brittany, Sam, they make up Go Pro Wrestling. I couldn't do it without them. But to give you how I started Go Pro Wrestling, we were actually, as the event was going on at NXT, we were looking up at the lights, we were looking up at their rig, how their entranceway was set up. And, Mike and O'Neill and I, we were brainstorming. We're just like, if we were coming up with the name together around that point. And then I said, what about go, let's go. And then the notion of GoPro, but we didn't want to teeter on GoPro who we are. We're in a different category entirely. So the idea was Go Professional Wrestling, and we actually, registered that and trademarked and everything, the logo. I mean, like I said, the team that I have around me, I couldn't have done it without. So at that point, we did Go Professional Wrestling. We started out primarily just to film for independent shows. And it started with, I was doing an interview piece, Asphalt's Comeback, to interview Gino Caruso and follow his show around at East Coast Professional Wrestling. When he saw the setup that we had, the cameras and everything, he actually gave me the opportunity, and my guys, the opportunity to film, come out. He actually had me do play-by-play commentary, and I owe a lot to the early success of Go Professional Wrestling because of Gino Caruso and Kevin Apollo and just the talent surrounding ECPW. And my co-host at the time, Joey G. I mean, I learned a lot just from the production side of things, and we started doing things. We were editing. We were, primarily Mike and O'Neill. They did all the editing. They did all the things behind the scenes. As time went on, Drew, and as time went on, what happened was we started getting noticed by a lot of other companies. WrestlePro, and then CCW. Modern Vintage or Gimmickry Entertainment. I mean, so many other companies reached out, and we started filming for a lot of these companies, and it's been a roller coaster since. And we always had doing our show in the back of our heads, like I certainly did. And I was ready to pull the trigger on it, maybe from 2017 or 18. But what happened was my father got ill and eventually passed on. God rest. And he was a big component. He was a big supporter of what we were doing. My dad is the one that, brought love of professional wrestling to me. Wrestling is my first love, my passion. And if it wasn't for my father and what he instilled in me and what he taught me, I wouldn't have got Go Pro Wrestling to where it is today, especially with the guys and girls around me.
Definitely, man. And you guys are always busy, man. It's like, I'm wondering, when do you even have time to sleep? It's like you do your own, you help other promotions out as well. Like how do you manage doing all this stuff, man?
You know what? I cannot take the credit because it's really Mike and O'Neill and Frank. Frank is doing our social media. He's done an excellent job since he came on board. I mean, even we got the girlfriends. I gotta give mention to Allie and Chris and Sam. We're like a family. We really are. We haven't been paying ourselves. Nobody's been getting paid. Nobody's really making anything. We have a common goal into we're not trying to change the face of pro wrestling, but we want to have fun doing what we can. And if we could leave our mark in some way, form, or fashion, and have fun doing it, I think that's what we're looking for. And that's the whole theme with Go Big or Go Home on September 28th. I know we'll get to that, but I'm so this has almost been like planning a wedding. It's probably bigger because of how long we've been planning this and the superstars that we have on that show that make up Go Big or Go Home. I mean, we got guys from Evolve, AEW Wrestling, the girls too, they're from AEW and Impact. I mean, you talk about a who's who. I mean, any match on that card could be a main event, and I stand behind that. I truly believe that. And the feedback that we got, guys, it's been extraordinary. I cannot. It brings tears to my eyes when I'm looking on social media and I see the tickets that are being sold and the feedback of the podcast. As you guys know, the creator behind Starcast, he and Dave Silva and the crew that he has, Tony Schiavone, when I just brought up the subject of, hey man, we're doing our first show, and we were filming out in Las Vegas for him at Starcast 2. He was fully behind. He goes, bro, let's do it, and he was excited because he's never had a live show in New Jersey with Tony Schiavone. So this is like a big coup, and a lot of people have asked, oh, we want to see what happened when with Tony and you to have in New Jersey. But now it's a reality, and to have them open our show in the afternoon at the same venue is just incredible. I couldn't have, if I dreamed about this and I got my, pen and paper, I couldn't have envisioned what this really means. And, to have guys like you supporting, I'm a big fan of your show. I've seen the guys that you guys have interviewed on there, and that's why I wanted to come on your show, and I'm so humbled that you guys asked me, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, of course. I got to ask you because you have that huge lineup coming up in Wayne for for Go Big or Go Home, are you bringing in the greatest wrestler of all time, Virgil?
If Virgil wants a table, he's more than welcome to have one. I mean, all those lonely Virgil and those Virgil stories. Every time I met him, he's always trying to get me to get an autograph, and I have just because of the time I spent speaking with him. I mean, he's off the wall, but hey, man, he was in the '80s and the '90s with WWE, and then later WCW. As much as his impact was to wrestling, he was there, so I can't really knock the guy at all. But man, what you were saying, if he wants a table, absolutely. I think there's some nostalgia. I'm in. Vendor tables are still available. We have a lot of sponsors and vendors that are already signed on, which we're very humbled and excited about. But there are still some spaces out there, and if there's any legends, there's any promoters, bookers that want to bring talent, they're more than welcome. If they want to just come and bring their gimmicks and sell toys and sell their memorabilia, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, you gotta put them outside the venue, though. That'd be hilarious.
Okay, well, outside, right? I mean, in front of the venue.
That's our dude. So,
my God, we have so much in store, guys. I can't. Just talking about this right now as I speak just gives me goosebumps. Like the amount of preparation that we put into the show. We didn't just throw this together in one day. I mean, this has been culminating. I mean, Killer Cross has been a good friend of ours, of our company. Mm-hmm. I mean, we supported him for a long time, and he's seen that. And I mean, he's very appreciative, and so are we to have him on our show. I mean, he's going to be one of the headliners wrestling Anthony Henry. And when I was booking Anthony Henry's fight, I was speaking to him. He was like, this is the first time I'm actually wrestling Killer Cross. And I didn't know that. When I put the match together with the guys, I said it would be cool to have these two guys wrestle each other. I don't know if they have or not on some smaller, bigger shows, but I'm assuming that these guys have wrestled on big shows. I mean, you talk about Evolve, Impact. These guys are all over the place, and they're really leaving their mark. So to have them both together going one-on-one, head-to-head, it's pretty intriguing, and, it should be interesting. I think it's going to be stiff, to say the least.
Yeah. Now, I always wonder, you just being a huge wrestling fan just like we are, when it comes to running your own promotion, what is the thought process and what are you thinking when you're putting all these great matches together?
That's a very good question. What I learned, especially for the first show right now, is you can't please everybody. And what I mean by that is we have become very good friends and very cordial and very friendly with a lot of talent that we have been with since day one. I mean, and they've supported us as well. And we have, I'm not going to mention names specifically, but I've been approached by different talent after we already announced the show. And a lot of them were, I'm not going to say that they were overly, upset, but some were a little bit miffed, if that's the word, or they just felt like they felt bad. Didn't approach them, or why my guys didn't approach them to the show. And like I said, and I really mean this, this is, and I'll give you guys the exclusive, this is the first of many what we have planned. I mean, in 2020, we have shows in our head right now and on the schedule that we're going to book, and this is more like, this is the stamp to show, hey guys, we are here, we're in the game. We just want to put on the most ridiculous show, and it's not saying that the other wrestlers are not capable, but it's because we want to attract the masses that these guys, they have a big social media following, and we're trying to slowly integrate the local wrestlers, and we slowly want to bring a lot of these guys on and have different matchups and different exciting, storylines. Once we have title belts, once we have things like that. But right now, this show is more of like a, in respect to PWG and these big shows, like Game Changer, man. Joey Janela is doing a great job. These guys, if we could be even 5% of what these guys are, I mean, this would be incredible just to put on a big super show like this. And as a wrestling fan, like you guys are, like how I am, this is just incredible. I can't say it enough. It's breathtaking. My daughter's first birthday is October 3rd. It's a couple days after this show, and I mean, it's come full circle. It really has. With just everything that my family has gone through in the last year, my dad being sick, and and he passed on. He was a big, like I said, my father was a big supporter of what we did and what we're doing, and this really is like I said, all of us that go professional wrestling, we're literally like family, and we just want to see this thing succeed. And if we could not going to say we're going to change the way, like AEW right now, they really opened the door. Like Cody Rhodes, like I got to say, like going off topic, but man, when we went to Las Vegas and we were dealing with Cody and with Conrad and the Young Bucks, I mean, we were filming behind the scenes, putting footage together for Conrad and Dave Silva and the guys at Something to Wrestle and all his podcast. I mean, for the event Starcast, I mean, we were there like filming, and we even had some cameos where we were in Being the Elite videos for Young Bucks. We were very humbled by that. We filmed the scenes like for Joey Janela's funeral scene that he had for John Moxley for that whole build-up. I mean, for our guys to be asked to like volunteer our time and to be a part of like what they're doing, man, just that that Joey Janela at our studio, man, that was really a humbling experience, and that was really, really damn cool. Just the doors that are being opened and everything just happening so fast, and the people like that believe in us and our abilities to film and to edit and the stuff that we learned. And I gotta say, like a former WWE producer, now she's one of the top producers in AEW, and I'll say her name, and she's very humble. I don't think she'd like me to say it, but I'll say it. I mean, Jess Palumbo, I mean, she taught us so. When we partnered up with her on the week of Starcast in Vegas, guys, I tell you, the stuff that I learned personally, and I don't, I can speak for Mike O'Neill and Frank who were with me, but man, it was like another level of producing. Like, we actually got to see what it's like to produce top-notch stuff because we were around top-notch people. We were around A-list people that knew the business so well, and just to get that little rub from them and to the knowledge that, like, Jess gave, my God, like, she's probably going to kill me when she hears this because she really is. If you guys meet her in person, see her, she's like a tiny little thing. She's so humble. But, man, you talk about a workaholic. She doesn't even stop to drink her coffee or to finish her bagel. It's absolutely, like, the WWE machine, like how they instilled that work ethic. And she still carries that over now to AEW, and she really is probably the best producer that we ever worked with. I mean, we've worked with a lot, but, I'm going to go on a limb and say that she really, and she was so humble, man. Like, you guys got to understand, like, people like from that, entertainment era, and she's filmed for also, her sister does with reality shows. Like, they're really, well known in circles with WWE and AEW, and it's just for her to, like, look at us, like, we were like nobodies, and she carried us, and she introduced us to people, and she trusted us, and I can't say good things about her. Like, we owe a lot to her, just in the last few months and what we're able to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she will probably be there September 28th. I mean, if I want to produce her, if we're gonna have this, knock on wood, if it's too early to say, but we want to like broaden this thing and get this out to the masses. We're still working on that, so I really can't discuss that whole part. Like, but we're right now, the best thing to do is like to go to that show on September 28th that we have, because the stuff that we have in store, I mean, my guys are just like, oh, we should advertise. I'm like, you know what? No, let's keep it a surprise. We want to be full of surprises. We want to have people come just like it's like a movie. And this is, by the way, this is not going to be, guys, this is not going to be one of those shows that drags on for 5-6 hours. And it's nothing, a knock on companies that have done that. I mean, to each his own. But it's just, to me, as a fan, when I used to watch shows that drag on beyond 5-6 hours, it just killed my curiosity and my love for that evening. So we're trying to keep this event. We want to keep it action packed. Probably 3 hours. I'm not, I don't know how long it could be, but it's definitely you're not gonna sit at 1 a.m. with your kids at our show. We want you to be entertained, but we want you to get home at a reasonable hour as well.
Definitely,
wow.
yeah.
That is awesome because, sometimes those shows can drag for a little bit, so that's awesome that you want to do that. Actually, it's pretty cool because I was there at Legends of the Ring this past one they had. And you brought in Haku, and you interviewed him, and I know he's one of your all-time favorites, right?
Oh, yeah, and what's funny is, like, he became, like, a really good friend of ours. I mean, and his kids as well, I can't say kids, they're grown men, but the Bullet Club with, Tom and his brother, I mean, these guys are just, humble people. What a great family. I mean, we filmed, it all started because we were filming their Bullet Club party WrestleMania weekend. I mean, to get invited to film that, and, with, 411 Mania was there. It was just surreal. Like, you have to, I'm still pinching myself at all the doors that were open, and I go back to what you guys were asking me, about, how are we at all these places? I can't take all the credit because, I'm not there all the time. I have my daughter I'm raising. I have so many other different things and hats I'm wearing. But these guys carry the load, and that's why I have to give credit where credit is due for Mike, O'Neill, Frank, especially these guys. The ones that film, that does the videography, that do the editing. Like, this team is just, it's an all-star team. I have to say, like, it really is. Like, to not make anything, we're not making any money, and for these, just getting choked up thinking about it. For these guys not to, say like, oh, how we're not making money. They don't care about the money. They love wrestling so much. If we do it, that's great. I mean, everybody wants to be profitable. Everybody wants to make money. But is that why we entered the wrestling? We entered because we love it. It's a hobby, like you guys. You guys love what you're doing. You guys interview a lot of great talent. I'm humbled that I'm on your show right now. So, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, the end of that spectrum would come. I see the light at the end of the tunnel at some point. But for right now, like, for us, what we're building, and the journey that we're on right now, we're part of like a family, a fraternity, and I can't explain it. I mean, it's just I couldn't do it. I can't do it alone, and I couldn't do it alone. And I would not do it alone. It's just way too much. You have to have the pieces of the puzzle, and these guys make up the puzzle.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely got to have a great support system around you for sure, and it definitely seems like you have one around you. I was kind of interested. When you said the impact that your father had on you, and how he was such a support for you. For me, and becoming a wrestling fan for me is my grandfather. He was a huge wrestling fan. He's the one who got me into wrestling. Can you just talk about like some of those memories you have, and when you like that moment for you that just you were like, hey, I just love this thing, and I just want to be a part of this.
You're talking about when I was younger and memories of my father, like with watching wrestling. Yeah,
like when when do you have like that moment for you where you were just like, yeah, I love wrestling, and this is just something for me. I feel like everyone has that one moment.
Well, when I was about 1987, so I was 6 years old. Well, how about when Andre the Giant was choking the life out of Hulk Hogan on Saturday Night's Main Event when Hogan was posing after his match?
Yeah.
If you go back, it's one of those episodes where Andre's in a suit and he's coming behind him like he's creeping behind Hogan, and the crowd's yelling, "Turn around!" And I'm yelling at the top of my lungs at the TV, "Turn around! Turn around, Hulk! Turn around!" And I'm in tears, and my dad thinks it's hilarious, and he's working me, and he's not telling me that this is not even a part of the show. I'm thinking this is all real. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he's choking Hulk Hogan. Hogan's doing his Hogan cell job, and Andre's got bug eyes, and he's, God rest his soul, Andre the Giant. He was choking Hulk Hogan, and I was crying and sobbing, and I went to run to my dad, like I was hiding behind him, like from some big monster that's Andre the Giant, and my dad's just rubbing my shoulder like, it's okay, everything will be okay, don't worry. Hulk Hogan's going to get up now. He's going to beat him up right now. So I remember stuff like that. I remember, like, when Hogan's body slammed in WrestleMania 3, and I remember I used to rip so many wife beaters. I used to have these wife beaters, and I used to get some scissors and cut the top of it off because it was so much easier to cut that little top part off.
Yeah.
And then when the time came and Hogan was hulking up and he made his big comeback and he would win his match, I remember ripping my shirt and jumping on the couch, and my mom was yelling at me, "What do you think you're doing? That's the fifth shirt that you
Oh, man.
So it's memories like that. Both my parents are not alive anymore. God rest both of them. I mean, my mom too is like it was like a family thing. We all watched wrestling together. And that's why I love wrestling so much now, especially going back in the old school. Like, when I start watching old episodes of Memories, sitting in the living room with my father and my brother and even my sister watching it. I used to put my sister in the sharpshooter and, things like that. And like now, it's like everybody has put their sibling in a sharpshooter at some point, right, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, so to answer your question, I mean, the stuff like that really sticks out, and I look back on it with just admiration and just great memories. I really do.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw a meme the other day, and it said,
if you haven't put your sibling in a sharpshooter, are you actually siblings?
I thought about that, and I screenshot that and sent it to my sister,
Yeah.
and she just put SMH, like chicken, right? And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because you've interviewed people from Cody Rhodes, Brandy, Maria, Bruce Pritchard. I mean, there's a whole list. Honky Tonk Man, Prince Akhenaken, Sean Donovan, Mark Adam Haggerty, Jay George, the FBI, RVD. I mean, so many people. Do you have a favorite one that sticks out? I mean, I'm sure they're all like your kids, so you can't pick a favorite one, right?
I have a couple favorites. Like you mean those shorter interviews, or you mean like the shoot interviews that I used to do?
Both of them, man, because they're
Any?
Yeah, anyone, because we do them both like that too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I have my favorites. I'm sure Derek has his.
Yeah.
My favorite interview of all time is the one I did with King Kong Bundy, because we really dug in, and he held nothing back. God rest him. He was a good friend, and he used to call my dad, like, while my dad was sick, and he would always, like, say, how's my man Fayez doing? How's he doing? Is he all right? And he would talk to him. I remember, 3 weeks before my father passed, he spoke to him, and he told him, hang in there. I hope you're okay. I hope to see you around. But I didn't know, like, Chris or Bundy, he didn't tell me how sick he was. I didn't realize until later, and I feel so bad. And but that interview I did with him, I remember while I was interviewing him, I just remembered, man, this is good. This is really good. When you're in that moment and you see it happening and the cameras are rolling and you're in that moment live and your heart is beating, and I'm just like, this interview is good. Yeah. Like the stuff he was saying, and that DVD was one of the top sellers. I mean, I'm still getting people reordering that now through High Spots and RF Video and things like that. I mean, people are still ordering that, and I'm still getting inquiries for wholesale, and I still have some. I mean, but man, that DVD, thank Bundy and the people that ordered it. I mean, that thing helped me pay for my wedding at the time, because I got married in 2011, and that DVD was released a year before. So I mean, while I was planning my wedding, I mean, we did very well with that DVD, and I think I even paid Bundy more, and he was surprised by that. And I'll tell you the funny story about that. I mean, after I paid him, he goes, "What are we gonna do? Shoot number 2, brother? I really need." I was like, "Listen, right now we already got the first shoot on the way. We don't need to do another shoot right now. You really covered everything." It was like almost a 4-hour interview on a 2-disc set.
Oh, man.
And I remember having the DVD covers and driving to his house for him to sign it. And I gave him some extra cash, and and he was like, "What's this for, brother? You don't have to do that." I was like, "Listen, man, what you did, that interview," he goes, "that was like a book on a DVD." I felt, and it wasn't a lot. I mean, I gave him an extra $500. Like, I wanted to, and it is a lot, but for me, for what I was selling at those DVDs, I thought he deserved it. Even I think I gave him about 50 DVDs, and he was still selling it even until the last year he passed. I saw him at a couple of the conventions at what was the one in New York, the big event? He was selling the DVDs on the table. Yeah. He still had them, and he was selling them. He was signing it. So I felt happy that he was able to make some extra money because of that. Because he put me. He really gave me credibility with that interview. And Sergeant Slaughter was another one, great interview. And at that time, I remember doing the shoot interviews. I wanted to do something different because the guys that I interviewed never have done interviews before. I had done Nelson Frazier. He was another one that passed on. Big Daddy V, Mabel, Viscera. He was the first one he did. Nikolai Volkov, Sergeant Slaughter, Zeus, the Tiny Lister at the time. I mean, some of these guys have done now, but if you want to talk about recently, my favorite interview had to have been Cody Rhodes. Just a genuine guy. Guys, when I tell you genuine, even without the cameras there, you talk about a guy who's so humble. He takes the time to talk to you, has his arm around you, and he calls you, "Hey bud, hey friend," and he's genuine. He's not fake whatsoever. I love Cody Rhodes. And this is, I saw him at Pro Wrestling Magic. I saw him at shows way before they even had AEW, and he was just doing independent shots after he asked for his release at WWE. That interview took place right after he had left WWE. But I just remember him and Brandy, man. It was just so cool and so nice. And Frank, if you go back on our YouTube channel, Frank, that was his first interview. The big guy, Frank, who does our social media, he interviews Brandy, and because he was like, he loves Brandy as a talent. He was like one of her, like his personal favorites. So I was going to interview her. I said, you know what, you interview her. You know, it might come off good on camera. And he was nervous. He hasn't been in front of a camera before. If you watch that interview back on the YouTube channel and youtube.com/Go for Wrestling, you'll see how he was. But she was such a good sport. She even said, like, let's give him a hand. And, you know, they were just, it was fun. It was fun to watch that. Like, she's a genuine person. And, like, you know, spending time with them at the after party after, the history-setting show they did with, back in Vegas. I mean, this is just incredible. Like, we filmed the after party. We were there all night long with Joey Janela, and then you got to know these guys on a personal level. And, when I tell you, like, how much these guys love wrestling, everybody loves wrestling that's involved in the business. Otherwise, they wouldn't get in it. I mean, unless you're Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's doing it for the paycheck. I mean, it's not a knock on Brock, but it's the truth. Even he's admitted it, right?
Yeah, he
but,
has.
But aside from Brock, I mean, the people that are in professional wrestling, whether they're at the top of their game in the WWE or AEW or these other top companies, or whether they're all the way at the bottom wrestling on weekends and the small shows, spot shows, whatever, they love the business, and it shows. It really does.
Yeah, I met Cody too, and I'm telling you, I mean, I told him, he was like, oh, how long have you been coming here? And I was at a WrestlePro show, and I was like, oh, since the beginning. And I said, my first one was the day your dad didn't show up. And he's like, yeah, Dad was like really sick back then. And I'm like, whose dad is he talking about? My dad, his dad. He just has that inviting feeling where he just, he does that. So I have to concur. And Brandy, she is such a classy lady. She reminds me of Miss Elizabeth,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
I thought that too, modern day Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That thought popped in my head. It's pretty cool that you said that because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, class act for sure. And it's funny because I don't want to get you robbed, but you have so much wrestling memorabilia. And two things I want to talk about because I thought they were kind of interesting is that you have a Santino Marella singlet that's signed.
Oh, yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think you were there at that show, right? When Santino marked out, I mean, when he saw that, he goes, where'd you get this? And he actually told me, he was like, he wore that at the Elimination Chamber. And when he signed it and he wrote the inscription, he put Elimination Chamber 2012 on it. And I told him I got it off of eBay. And I have a couple other ring-worn pieces, and I'm not a big collector of ring-worn stuff. Actually, the first one that was given to me, because I was a close friend of Nelson Frazier, I had the robe of and I'll send you a picture if you want to put it on and people could see it. I'll share with you. He signed the robe. It's the world's largest love machine robe that he used to wear every week on Raw, on the pay-per-views, the one where he was supposed to marry Lillian Garcia. I have that same exact robe.
Oh, wow.
I even tried it on. It almost hit the floor. Really? I have a picture of that as well. But I never was a big collector of ring-worn stuff. But I have that piece, and I don't think I'll ever sell that because he's been a great friend to myself and my family. Like, actually got to know him very, very personally. He's one of the first guys actually that I interviewed ever. And I have his. I have other ring-worn stuff. I have Bobby the Brain Heenan's. If you go on my Instagram, or I have Bobby the Brain Heenan's from SummerSlam 1990. There's quite a few ring-worn stuff that I have. I have Val Venus, his debut match on Raw, and he's worn it a few times before he changed his gear. I have that first one where he wrestled Scorpio on Monday Night Raw in May of 1988, I would say. And I'm glad you've touched on that. It's pretty interesting. I do have a lot of actually ring-worn stuff when I come to think about it. I have the Captain Charisma, Christian Cage one from when he was Captain Charisma in WWE. I have Billy Gunn's. He wore quite a lot during the Attitude Era with all the where he was Mr. Ass. I have that. I have quite a bit actually now that I'm thinking about it. But memorabilia, I've been collecting, selling, buying since for about 10 years now, and I've been selling some, trading some. I keep my personal collection to the side. Like I collect the LJNs, I collect the Hasbros. And right now, those things are worth a lot of money, as you guys know, especially with, the great job, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins are doing with their podcast. It's just making the value go higher because everybody's talking about it and they're reliving their childhood the way I am.
Yeah, and another cool thing you had, too, I noticed, you have that WrestleMania signed poster from, was it 5?
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite piece. That's what I started doing. I was collecting the posters before it was cool. And when I say that, I mean, I want to, believe me, for this, I'm going to take credit. And if anybody wants to challenge me, that's fine. But I remember collecting these posters when nobody gave a crap. Like, if they're too big to carry around the conventions, usually people would carry those classics at the time. They used to be the Jackson Classics or the Hasbros and get them signed, or 8x10s, or they would buy the 8x10 at the table and get it signed. But I was the first one that was carrying around the poster, and my idea behind it was getting everybody on the card to sign the entire poster. And I remember it took the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, was the last one to sign it. He was the final one that signed it. And I think it's like 33 signatures on there. Some of them have passed on, like how Roddy Piper has signed that WrestleMania 5 poster. I have Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Fuji. There's so many. Jim the Animal Neidhart. There's a lot of guys, actually. But I have the WrestleMania 4 poster. Like, when I was a kid and I used to pass by this video store called Stop and Go video store, I remember, like, those posters looked so large and so big on that glass as I walked by it. I remember just looking at it every day on my way home from school. And I remember, like, when eBay was first a thing, like on the internet, like 97, 98, I was buying these posters back in, starting around 2003, 2004, around that time. Yeah. And I used to buy it, and I used to keep it on sign. This was before they had big conventions. Tommy Fierro was one of the first guys, and you got to give him credit. He was one of the guys that started the Fan Slam, and now he came back and did 80s Wrestling Con now. And he's doing number 2 in October, so that's pretty cool. But before they had, like, then Legends came and Big Event came. Once the access to all these big legends and superstars started coming around, I was like, man, this is pretty easy to get these guys. You would just have to wait each time, you know, they came and had to take it out of the frame. But it's just to have all these posters, you know, now, like the SummerSlam and the Survivor Series and the Royal Rumbles and King of the Ring. Like, I have so many posters. If you go on my personal Facebook page, Andrew Khellah, or I post a lot. I have an album of, like, all the posters going back from WrestleMania 1 all the way to later. So that was really my big collection. Everything else I didn't really have too much attachment to it until recently when I started collecting Hasbros and LJNs, and that was because after my father passed, I remembered all the times he used to take me to Toys R Us, and with Toys R Us now, you know, no longer a thing, it just brought back memories, and I was just like, you know what, I want to get LJNs and Hasbros, which has been costly, but it's, you know, it makes me happy to have that, and, you know, it does have resale value, so, I mean, I'm not worried about that. If I ever want to sell it, I would have no problem doing so.
I just need you to save us one each, if you could.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to need you to save us at least one, and I'll take
you guys, come on, man. You guys, you know, when we have a table set up, you guys are more than welcome. You pass by, just tell me what you like. I got you. You know that.
There we go. That's what I like.
I'm going to need a Virgil. I don't know about Derek, but
Virgil. Oh my God.
Yeah, especially if anybody has the name Andrew, they get a nice discount.
Oh man,
that's crazy. My nickname is Andrew. Did you know that?
No, it's not.
Your nickname is Andrew too. I got you too. Don't worry.
All right, awesome.
Well, actually, it is Andrew, Derek Andrews. So.
See that? Nice. See? And I see your just to kind of shift gears a little bit. I saw you're a New York Giants fan, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah, I know. I saw you just got season tickets. One of, like, the 12 people in the world that have them, but it's all good.
More than that.
Nah,
people that you know, but yeah, I've been a Giants fan for a long, long time. You know, I cried like Ric Flair when they won both times in the last 2007 and 14. The 2007 one was even more special because of how heavy underdogs they were, and nobody thought that they would win. And they beating the Patriots at the time. I think they were 19-0, and they didn't even. That was their first loss, was their only loss, and that was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. I was definitely rooting for the Giants in that one.
It's not too late to be a Jets fan.
No, please. No,
and
but
here's an exclusive for you guys. I don't mean to cut you, but my wife is actually a Cowboys fan, so when the Giants play, we have issues at the household.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. But they haven't won since like '96, so you know you always got one up on her.
I tell her all the time. She doesn't listen.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Daniel Jones pick and, you know, him eventually replacing Eli? I know it's only been 1 week of preseason, you know, 5 passes.
Oh man, no, listen, he looked good in that preseason game with the Jets. I mean, you know, the you know, right now, like as this interview is going on, I mean, with the Bears game is tonight. I mean, I'm gonna go watch that game later. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be you'll see how that game goes, and that's the only other preseason home game this year. But I mean, he looked great. He looked sharp. I mean, I'm like, this is. I think the future is bright. I think initially everybody when they saw Beckham get traded, and I mean, he just, personally, my opinion, guy's got so much talent, man. But he's a head case, and he's got, I love it. And on the field, he's got such great talent. But man, and somebody's that toxic in the locker room, and everybody, and that club does not like you. It's time to switch gears and do something different. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. He's definitely a great talent. I heard, I don't know, I heard it was kind of like a disconnect with with management and upper. I heard his teammates actually loved him, but upper management didn't really like him that much.
Yeah. And I mean, and who's going to win in that case? All the talent in the world. I mean, at the end of the day, who's going to get fired? The bosses or the powers that be, or the talent? You know what I mean? It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. As good as you are, and Beckham is going to be missed. I mean, we got Golden Tate, but I mean, he's not Odell Beckham. I mean, that was a hell of a talent. I was there when he caught I was there at all the games pretty much, but the game where he caught it with the one hand in the end zone with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. I still have the ticket stuff for that. And I remember them selling the ticket stuff for that game for $200-300 just to stop, which is crazy. I never seen the football stuff sell for that high at the time. I don't know about now, but at the time it was.
Yeah. Andrew, we got to talk about this because where can people get tickets if they haven't already got them for your show coming up in Wayne on September 28th? Go home or go big or go home.
Yeah.
Well, I got. You know what? Because you guys, and this is just a spur of the moment thing, because I really love your show. I'll tell you what. Two lucky fans of yours. You guys can decide if you want to put it up on your social media platforms. But I'm going to give away 2 free tickets, 2 free general admission tickets to the show, and the event poster, and anybody else that wants to order tickets, go to GoProWrestling.com, or you could go on GoProWrestling.eventbrite.com, event, and then BRITE.com. There are tickets from there. There's still some VIP tickets, and when I mean the VIP tickets, you actually could go to Conrad's show in general admission, and you're going to go to our show in the front row. Plus, you're going to get a t-shirt. Not a t-shirt. That's for some, if we have availability. That's why I don't want to promise a t-shirt. But definitely, everybody's going to get an event poster that you can go around and get signed. As long as the talent's willing to sign it, or if they're at the vending table, you can go and get that signed, or you can keep it unsigned. So that's the other thing with the posters now. You see, even though it's an extra expense, I wanted to print the posters and have people that will remember this show, if this is the first of many, to have a souvenir of this of something like this.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're tying in your first love of wrestling with the posters into this show. That's awesome to see that full circle right there. But this is an amazing.
But I want to see who you guys select, and I'm gonna give 2 tickets, general admission tickets, to anybody else. And no, you guys can't win. You guys are already invited. You're coming to the show.
Yeah, awesome.
And don't worry. But it has to be 2 listeners. It's not you guys, but 2 of your listeners. And you guys decide. I don't know if you want to hold the contest, do whatever you got to do. Whatever. You guys decide. It's your program, your show. But I'm giving you guys free tickets to give to some of your listeners.
We definitely appreciate that.
I'm sure our listeners will love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to give it another step. Anybody that wants to purchase tickets from you guys, they go on the website GoProWrestling.com or GoProWrestling.eventbrite.com. GoPro Wrestling is going to direct you to the Eventbrite. It's just I'm giving both alternatives. But I will give you guys a coupon code, an exclusive code that your listeners could use, and if they order from you guys and they put the coupon code, they get 20% at checkout.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Look
awesome.
at that.
Definitely.
You're saving people money. You're giving tickets away. You're like Santa Claus.
I'm giving tickets to come in because you guys have got me talking about my father and my family and getting nostalgic. I'm getting so excited about the show, guys. I want to give something back. And with this show, I mean, have you seen the matches that we have planned? I mean, we're even talking. Teddy Hart and JT Dunn are going to team up together for the first time. You're talking about rivals that have had these great classic bouts against each other and all over the independent scene, and they're going to be a tag team together for the first time. And they're going to wrestle Private Party.
Yeah. Like how?
Come on now. Private
Great.
Party was handpicked by AEW's Young Bucks to join their organization, and I believe, with October coming right there, this is going to be pretty much Private Party's last indie show before they go to AEW. So if you want to catch them in your local in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the whole tri-state area, this is your opportunity. I mean, not to say they never will come back, but this is one of those major opportunities where they're going to be in a headline match with JT Dunn and Teddy Hart. I mean, and we had Pat Buck wrestling Richard Holiday, but we had to replace Pat Buck, unfortunately, of WrestlePro, who we worked very closely with, who's a great friend of ours. You guys know he signed with WWE.
Yeah,
We're very, very happy for him.
Definitely.
But we had to replace him, and he wanted to do the match, but it's not that WWE didn't allow it. It's just that with his schedule, being a producer and everything, he couldn't make it happen on that Saturday. So I wish him the best. But Richard Holiday, his consumers, he's going to meet Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh man, look how sick that is.
Yeah, you talk about a match for the ages. That is it.
I mean, these two guys are tearing it up in Major League Wrestling, MLW. I mean, Court Bauer doing a great job. I mean, and I love MLW. This is just a plug out to MLW. I mean, their TV, I've been getting hooked on it. Every time I have their episodes on my DVR, I'm just watching them, man. As soon as they're in my DVR, I'm already watching it just because it's so good, man. And I mean, we have Sent to Slaughter and Bear Country and a False Count Anywhere, and this is going to be their final encounter. They've been killing each other. It's stiff, absolute. On a personal, professional level, these guys don't like each other. So just the fact that putting them together is they're like, I don't know. I said, listen, for me, guys, let's do it. And they're friends of of us, especially Moff and Donovan. We've done a lot of work with those guys and with Bear Country. So I mean, they were like, you know what? For Go Pro Wrestling, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to go all out. So. You better. The wish list that I got, like of what stuff, like from my guys, what we should have in store for them they could tear the place up. Like, I'm not gonna say they're gonna tear the place up because the venue wouldn't like it, but we're gonna try to contain these guys as best we can. But I don't think we were able to. So that's why it's gonna be contested in a False Count Anywhere match. And man, you want to talk about a match? How about we're gonna have the four ladies: Jordan Grace, Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, and Alley Cat.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. You could pick any match from this card, guys, and I'm not to blow smoke or not to pat myself on the back because the show hasn't happened yet. But on paper, any of these matches could be a main event. And if anybody wants to challenge online, tell me different that this card doesn't have all-star potential all over. Please share that with me, please.
Sure, definitely. All these matches are definitely great, and that Jordan Grace, Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, Alley Cat, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and that definitely shows how far women's wrestling has come along. That's my match that I'm looking forward to the most out of all these great matches.
And you know what? We have a surprise ring announcer specifically for that match, but I'm not going to say it. It's a surprise.
Can I do it?
You guys are going to have, when you guys are come out. It's funny you mention that. It's the favorite match of this individual who's coming for he or she to announce this thing. So, I mean, and I didn't even mention the announcers, the broadcasting that we have. I mean, we have Josh Chernoff of Chernoff Knows, and also Joel Gertner.
Nice. Oh, wow.
From ECW fame, an icon from ECW. I mean, to have those guys, and we have Mark Adam Haggerty as our ring announcer. We have Shane Fair, who's going to be doing announcing duties. Like, when I tell you, from even the referees, we got Slick Willie, Bill Thompson, and Gina, and the referees even. We try to attract the best of the best. We're from top to bottom. Like, everybody working on our show, it's not just a talent. Even it couldn't be done from everyone that's doing security at our show to the guy that's sweeping the foot. Like, everybody is important and vital to what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sounds like that. But another great match that I'm kind of looking forward to is Anthony Bowens versus MV Young. I mean, this is going to be off the chain. I mean, both guys are on a roll right now.
When we had this card set, That was actually the last card that was added, and I was just like, you know what? Like, it was actually Mike. I'll say Mike O'Neill and Frank. I'm not sure who exactly brought it to my attention, but they said, hey, what if we have, Bowens and MV Young? And I'm a big fan of both of them. They both got great talent. And I was just like, you know what, man? Let's do it. Let's do it. One of the things I didn't want to have was, like, way too many matches, like 10, 12 matches. Like, so we had it at 7, and now we have it at an even 8. And that was the 8th and final match that was announced. And it's certainly not going to be, like, it's not the bottom of the card. Absolutely not. But it's a match that you're intrigued. A lot of people are. When we announced it, there was buzz around it. I mean, just the other ones like Ace Austin and Saeed. Like, I mean, these guys are going to kill each other. I mean, this is just, if you love independent wrestling, whether if it was for, we're friendly with a lot of the independent promoters and like Pat Buck, Wrestle Pro, Create a Pro. I mean, if you love independent wrestling, come on out. I mean, it's $20. I mean, at the door it might be, we haven't decided if it's going to be $20, $25. It'll probably be $20 at the door, but you're going to save a lot more by pre-ordering the tickets and coming in, because those people are going to be escorted in first. So, I mean, everybody who's buying their tickets, there's so much more benefit, especially the savings and the money aspect. You're going to save. I can't just stress it enough. I know a lot of people want to wait till the day of. I've done it some myself. I'm not going to lie, but there is a benefit. And when people see for the first show how we run things and how we do the show, I think that people will start to feel us how we are as a company, and hopefully as a promotion. I mean, as you see, we started with just doing interviews, and we were filming shows for other companies. Now we're presenting our own show and trying to leave a mark, if that makes sense, guys,
Sure. Yeah, and I don't want to leave this match out, too, but Kip Saban versus Matt McIntosh. I mean, yowie wowie, to steal Bray Wyatt's term, but that's going to be one hell of a matchup.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I mean, like every match from top to bottom. I mean, if I put Killer Cross and Anthony Henry in the first match, and I put JT Dunn and Teddy Hart against Private Party in the last match, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference of match order, because every match is special in their own way. I mean, the ladies' match is a main event caliber match on any independent show. Any match you have on here is a main event match. The JT Dunn Teddy Hart versus Private Party. I mean, come on. Do I have to, that matchup when we booked that to get Teddy Hart and JT Dunn to agree to be partners and to wrestle Private Party? I mean, it was just incredible, the fact that they agreed, and we were so honored that we have a legend like a guy like Teddy Hart, who in my opinion should be in WWE, who have been in WWE for a long time. But I mean, the guy is such a great talent. He has the ability to make people look good. Teddy Hart has made so many guys, and JT Dunn is one of them. JT Dunn looked up to Teddy Hart for a long time. He's like a mentor to him. And now here they are, the first time they are going to team together against Private Party. I mean, AEW, their tag team division, I mean, Private Party, I can't wait to see what they do in AEW, but for September 28th to have these two teams, man, against each other, guys, this is just, I'm marking out myself. I'm being a mark for my own show. It's like, when you were in school and you wanted to book your own show on a pad and paper while you were doodling and you weren't paying attention to the teacher? Well, this is like what we did, basically. We were like, if we could put a show together, who would we want? And we thought to ourselves, this is the kind of people we wanted.
Sure.
I mean, we had some other talent that, fell through. We tried to get, but it wasn't because they didn't want to do the show. It just conflicted with scheduling and this and that. But, I mean, we look forward to having them on future shows. I can't talk about it because of, negotiations, things like that. But in due time, I will tell you guys first the exclusive of who we got going once we have the second show lined up, hopefully. But as far as September 28th, man, I cannot be this ecstatic. I mean, what we have in store in that afternoon, Conrad and Tony are going to be live. People could come out. I mean, you could purchase your tickets from them, Tony and Conrad Live.com. Purchase your tickets there. You can get if you get VIP tickets from them, the deal I have with them is because Conrad and I are great friends. If you buy your tickets from Conrad VIP, you get VIP to his show, like first row plus the signing with photo op with both of them, you also get a general admission comp to our show, and vice versa. If you purchase a VIP ticket from our show, you get a general admission to his show. Well, it's limited quantities on both ends, so I don't want people thinking if you purchase tickets to his show, you're automatically coming. I don't want to state that because it's just a limited amount. Yeah. So if you like to come to both shows, we'd love to have everybody there. We want to pack the house. We want to make this exciting. We got vendors set up. There's going to be so many different vendors for everybody's taste. I mean, there's going to be some vendors for wrestling. There's going to be some vendors like for non-wrestling stuff. But I mean, they're selling like vintage stuff, like Star Wars and other things like that. I mean, I can't even think off the top of my head, but we have vendors set up already. And right now we're trying to add on some more. I think we have some spaces available left. But it should be really exciting on September 28th. I really want to thank you guys for taking the time to speak with me, and I know you guys are excited about the show when you asked me about it, Andrew, and it's just this is really, really I can't. I'm going to say it 100 more times. It's incredible, and I'm excited, and it's consuming me. Like all I think about is this show. Other than my family and personal obligations and work, but I mean, just this show is like every day. Like we have a checklist. Okay, we need to get this. We need to do this. We need to do that. We want to make everything as perfect as possible. I mean, nothing like that can ever happen. You can't make anything perfect, right, guys? But we can certainly try our best. I mean, as a show, we want to make it perfect. Nobody individually is perfect, but if it makes any sense, we want this show to be as perfect as possible so the audience could say, hey, my money was well spent and I intended a kick-ass show, and I hope that these guys do more shows, in which we plan on doing, and just want to come back. Because as fans, as a fan myself, when I attend a show, I want to feel like, man, I got my money's worth here,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be a great show. It sounds like a lot went into it. We definitely see all the hard work and everything you guys put into it. You already know if you need anything from us, we'll definitely be there to help you with it. We can't wait to be there, and we just know it's going to be great.
Andrew,
thank you, man. Vice versa, guys. Thank you so much. I really mean that. I can't wait for you guys to come there, and you're probably going to interview some of the other guys there, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to. Some of them, you guys already know a lot of these guys that you're going to see there. Maybe some other surprises I can't really disclose, but I think people should buy tickets. Just trust me when I say, as a fan of 30 plus years, just order tickets and come to the show. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. This show is made by fans for the fans. I'm not a promoter. I've never promoted shows. I'm not a matchmaker. I've never booked shows. I'm not going to tell wrestlers how to work or how to do their thing. They're artists. They know what to do.
Sure.
I just want to put on a great show, let the wrestlers do their art in front of a capacity crowd, I hope. And I really hope that more and more fans buy tickets, come out, because we don't know what's going to happen on the day off. It's much better to buy the tickets early and just come on out and have a great time and have a great show. And, people, and like I said, come out, you can see Conrad and Tony live, and then you have our show immediately after. Our belt time is 8 p.m. We're going to have a pre-show. We plan to probably have about a match or two, probably one match, but I'm still working the details on that. That's going to be a surprise as well. But we have a pre-show. We're going to have the actual show, and man, we're going to rock Turf City on September 28th. I really feel like that. It's going to be incredible. It really is.
Yeah, and can you just tell people one more time how they can get tickets to the show, where the show is, and where people can then follow it on Facebook?
Once again, thank you. All our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us at GoPro Wrestling, just like GoPro Wrestling. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, and we're on YouTube. Nice. YouTube.com/GoPro Wrestling. We have wrestling content on there from other shows that we have filmed. And we also have the interviews and things that we have touched on, like with Cody Rhodes and Brandy and a lot of other. But if you go on GoProWrestling.com, that's how you can order tickets to the show. Also, GoProWrestling.eventbrite.com. It'll lead you to the same place. It's self-explanatory. When you see it, you have different options. There's actually, I didn't even mention this, we have group packages available. If you purchase the group package, you're going to save more. It's a minimum of 4 or more. And you could, if you want to bring out your buddies, you have yourself and 3 other guys or more, by all means, or for families, bring the kids, bring your wife. It's just really a show catered towards the family. Other than the Falls Count Anywhere match that might be for the weak at heart, I would say the vast majority of the matches, especially maybe Killer Cross Anthony Henry might be a little bit too much for some kids to stomach. But we're catering. If you look at the card, we're catering not just for the kids and the families. We're also catering to the hardcore masses. The 18 to 40 audience. So, this is a show that is for everybody. Everybody is welcome to come from every race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, whatever. This is a show. If you're just a wrestling fan, I don't care if you're brown, pink, blue, whatever you want, just come on out. You're going to love this show. You're going to love it.
Definitely. Oh, man. And we definitely, we want to reiterate just, thanking you for coming on again, for taking the time out.
Yeah, thank you.
I know how it is to be away from the kid. I have 2 myself, man, so I know how hard it is. We definitely appreciate you taking the time out and just, answering our questions and just letting our fans know about all the great things going on at Go Pro Wrestling.
Man, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you letting me come on your show, on your platform, to talk about Go Pro Wrestling and our show, Go Big or Go Home, on September 28th in Wayne, New Jersey. And I'm glad that you guys are going to attend. And once again, GoProWrestling.com, where to buy tickets, and just come out and say hi. Come out and enjoy the show. Like I said, this is for the fans, by fans. We're fans. We're not fans. We're not promoters. I'm not going to say we're a film company, and we've interviewed wrestlers, and this is our first big show, and we want to leave a big mark on it, and that's why it's entitled Go Big or Go Home. On one night can change everything, and that's the theme we have for this show, because we want to put some change. If we could just put a couple of people in that audience smiling that night, entertain them, make them happy, that's exactly what we will do and we intend to do. And I'm going to tell you right now, these guys like Killer Cross, Anthony Henry, I talked to these guys personally, a lot of other guys on the card, and then the girls, they are very excited, and they see all the effort that we're putting in the same way you guys see it, and they're like, man, you guys are really we can't wait to see. I think Richard Holiday's getting new gear just for this show.
Wow.
He was looking around for new ring gear, I think, for this show. This show is not going to be just a regular indie show on a Friday or Saturday night. This has been planned. This has been, the roots have been there. We've been watering the plants, letting the seeds grow, letting it grow to this point. And I hope that September 28th, it just blossoms to the point of, I can't even put into words.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to be there on September 28th. Andrew, thank you again for taking out the time. This has been Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. You can subscribe right here on the YouTube at Wrestling IQ 101 or our official iTunes page. Or you can follow us on the B Plus Player Network across all platforms, wherever you get your podcast. And for Derek and I, we will see you very soon.
We're out. You have just listened to the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast.